Okay, Uma, start பண்ணலாமா Uma?
You can start, sir.
Okay, thank you, Uma. Good morning, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our Director of Sports for this Viva Voce examination of Mrs. NagaJothi. I'm very happy to welcome our advisor, Sports. I'm much delighted to welcome Professor Dr. Madhyalagan, Department of Physical Education, University of Mysore. I feel extremely very happy to welcome Professor Dr. Mahadevan, Director of Physical Education, University of Madras. I have the privilege to welcome our department professors, other department professors, MPhil and Ph.D. scholars, physical education students for this Viva Voce examination. Over to our director, Dr. Mohan Krishnan.
So thank you, Dr. Mahadevan and Dr. Madhyalagam sir. So accept our invitation for the examiner for his PhD Viva, and Dr. Vaidyanathan, former Vice Chancellor, Sports University, and all the HODs, Department of Physical Education and Yoga, and all the staff members. Thank you. Over to NagaJothi.
Uma, the screen share பண்ணுங்க.
Sanjay.
Good morning, one and all. Effect of different methods of yoga practices on selected body composition measures physiological and psychological variables among middle-aged women. Introduction. Physical activity plays a prominent role in every human life, either faculty indirectly. Contemporary lifestyle influences of health status of the entire society. Fitness is the central pillar of health and happiness. The quality of life largely depends on it. Fitness is a prerequisite for work, sports, and general well-being. A fit person is an asset because he is capable of working tirelessly and producing more, thereby contributing substantially to life and everybody's welfare. Kamalesh M.L. Yogi practices. Through systematic and regular yogi practices, our body may be made healthier and its resistance power to fight against the disease would be enhanced. Mind will get sharpened and the concentration and memory power may be developed. Chandrasekharan K. Bihar School of Yoga. Bihar School of Yoga developed the new pattern of yoga by linking implication in the Asian teachings, robust yogic said is attained through growing the mind. The school teaches traditional yoga in a modern style. This school gives more importance on energy, practices and teaches asanas, pranayama, mudra, kriyas, bandhas and meditation. Iyengar Yoga. Iyengar Yoga mainly used improved strength, flexibility, and body awareness through practice of asanas with main focus on the alignment. This method is mainly based on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It gives more importance on the accuracy of physical alignment of the body. Objectives of the study. The main goal of this research study was to determine the contribution of different methods of yoga practices on selected body composition measures, physiological and psychological variables among middle-aged women. Statement of the problem. The purpose of the study was to determine the effect of different methods of yoga practices on selected body composition measures, physiological and psychological variables such as a person body fat, body mass index, body fat weight, mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, vital capacity, anxiety and aggression among middle-aged women. Hypothesis. It was hypothesized that 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, and physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression among middle-aged women. It was hypothesized that 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected physical variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression. They Iyengar Yogi practices among middle-aged women. It was hypothesized that 12 weeks of Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, than Bihar School of Yogi practices among middle-aged women. Significance of the study. The scientific base on guidelines of the study will be helpful to the professionals in the field of physical fitness and health and wellness to prepare training schedules for improving the health status of their clients. The findings of the study may be helpful to the employees with sedentary lifestyle to overcome from their illness and also improve the physical fitness. Delimitations. The study was delimited to 45 middle-aged women in the age group of 35 to 45 years. Further, there were randomly assigned into 3 equal groups of 15 subjects each. The training program was restricted to 12 weeks. Limitations. The following limitations were not taken into consideration: daily routine, lifestyle, food habits, and rest period, hereditary and environmental factors, the previous knowledge of these subjects, and their experience in yogi practices. Subject selection. The main aim of this study was to evaluate the influence of different methods of yogi practices on selected body composition measures, physiological and psychological variables among middle-aged women. To attain the objective of this research, 45 middle-aged women from Chengalpattu district, Tamil Nadu were selected as subjects for this study, and they were in 35 to 45 years of age. Experimental variables selection, dependent variables, body composition measures, person body fat, body mass index, body fat weight. Physiological variables, mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, vital capacity. Psychological variables, anxiety, aggression. Independent variables, 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices, 12 weeks of Iyengar Yogic practices. Experimental design. True random group design was implemented in this study that consists of pre-test and post-test. The subjects were randomly assigned into 3 equal groups of 15 middle-aged women each. Equal division of 3 groups were made in which 2 experimental and 1 control groups, and each group had 15 subjects. Pre-tests were taken on selected dependent variables for all the subjects before start of the training. Bihar School of Yogi practices was allotted to experimental group 1. Iyengar Yogi practices was allotted to experimental group 2. And another group called control group was allotted no training except the daily routine. Training period for the experimental groups was restricted to 12 weeks of 6 days a week. Post-tests were taken after 12 weeks of training period. Selection of tests, variables, taste, unit of measurement, person body fat, skin fold caliper, percentage, body mass index, body height weight, kilogram per meter squared, body fat weight, skin fold caliper, kilograms, mean arterial blood pressure, skip dynamometer, millimeter mercury, resting pulse rate, radial pulse, beats per minute, breath holding time, holding the breath of time, seconds, vital capacity, wet spirometer, liters, anxiety questionnaire points, aggression questionnaire points. Statistical techniques. Analysis of covariance. Statistical techniques was used to test the adjusted post-test mean differences among the experimental groups. If the adjusted post-test result was significant, the Cepheid-Cox post-hoc test was used to determine the significance of paired mean difference. Discussion on hypotheses. The first hypothesis expressed that Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, and physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression among middle-aged women. The findings of the study showed that there was significant effect due to the influence of the 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, and physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression. Hence, the first hypothesis was accepted and above said variables. The second hypothesis expressed that 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices would significantly improve the selective physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression. They Iyengar Yogi practices among middle-aged women. The finding of the study disclosed that there was significant effect due to the influence of the 12 weeks of Bihar School of Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression, than Iyengar Yogi practices. Hence, the second hypothesis was accepted and above said variables. The third hypothesis expressed that Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, than Bihar School of Yogi practices among middle-aged women. The finding of the study disclosed that there was significant effect due to the influence of the 12 weeks of Iyengar Yogi practices would significantly improve the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, than Bihar School of Yogi practices. Hence, the third hypothesis was accepted on above said variables. Conclusions. Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices significantly improved the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, and physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, and psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression, compared to control group. Bihar School of Yogi practices significantly improved the selected physiological variables, namely mean arterial blood pressure, resting pulse rate, breath holding time, and vital capacity, than Iyengar Yogi practices among middle-aged women. Bihar School of Yogi practices significantly improved the selected psychological variables, namely anxiety and aggression, than Iyengar Yogi practices among middle-aged women. Iyengar Yogi practices significantly improved the selected body composition measures, namely person body fat, body mass index, and body fat weight, than Bihar School of Yogi practices among middle-aged women. Recommendations. Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices have proved as more effective measures to improve the health status and middle-aged women and can be carried out for women working in various fields, those who need to improve their health status. The finding of the studies revealed that Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices had remarkable influences on all the created variables. Hence, professionals in the field of physical fitness and health and wellness can utilize these training schedules to improve the health status of their clients. Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices training schedule may help the people, those who wish to improve their health status. Bihar School of Yogi practices and Iyengar Yogi practices were more beneficial and can be carried out for varied age group of both men and women. Suggestion for the further research. They are great scopes for other researchers to execute similar studies with different body composition methods, physiological and psychological variables. Similar studies may be conducted for the employees of various fields, those who lead a sanitary lifestyle. Thank you.
Over to first examiner, Professor Dr. Madhyaragan. Sir, please, sir. Sir, Madhyaragan, sir. அம்மா சார் இருக்காங்களா? அம்மா
இருக்காங்க சார்.
சார் கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க. சார் மதியம் சார்.
Hello.
சார் பேசுங்க சார்.
Madam, can I have the clarification for two reasons? I just wanted to know why you have selected this particular age group.
Middle-aged women for facing many health problems because the nature of body, working and family commitments, and I also for this age group, sir. So
Okay.
I selected for this study and age group.
Okay, one more question is that you have selected the different types of yoga. Hello.
Sir?
You have selected the different types of yoga. Can you just tell me the differences of the different types of yoga? Why you have selected, and what is the difference between these two types of yoga?
Okay, sir. Bihar School of Yoga main focus growing the mind. This school teaches traditional yoga in modern style, but Iyengar Yoga mainly focused to improve strength, flexibility, body awareness, and the alignment. It's improved the physical alignment of the body. That is the difference, sir.
Okay. Okay, bro. Thank you. Okay, can you just share it to the sir?
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. You can just
Okay,
wind
sir.
up, sir. I don't have any objection.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now
Okay.
I call upon Dr. Mahadevan, Professor Dr. Mahadevan, the second examiner. Over to Dr. Mahadevan, University of Madras.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Sir, audible, sir.
Very good morning to all. At the outset, I like to appreciate and congratulate both the guide and the scholars for making excellent study, which is related to health oriented, in particular for the middle-aged people. by using two methods of yoga practice, like bigger school of yoga methods. Other one is Iyengar yoga methods. But my small correction related to the tools which are used for taken data from the sample. I think just open it, the tools which are used for collection of data. So small suggestion. Skin fold caliper. The scholar has mentioned kilogram. Okay. NagaJothi,
Yes, sir.
just refer that one, the tools which are used for collection of data. Skin fold caliper. That is centimeter or kilogram?
Skin fold caliper kilograms, sir. Body fat weight centimeter.
Kilogram or centimeter? How to measure skin fold caliper?
Kilograms, sir.
Huh?
Hello.
Hello. The skin fold caliper use பண்றீங்களா? For taken
Centimeter, sir.
Centimeter.
Sir,
But
can you hear? Centimeter, sir.
yes, you have mentioned the kilogram.
Okay.
Just look it and correct it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Mistake, sir.
So again, I appreciate and congratulate the scholar has done the entire information of the thesis. She has done very relevant and information systematically, in particular the chapter 1. She has mentioned almost brought out of almost all the relevant background materials relating to the study, and she has formulated quite suitable hypothesis for the need and the significance of her study. And also, she has mentioned the key limitation and the limitation of the study. The chapter unfold all the relevant information of her study. And in the chapter 2, she has mentioned all the relevant related literature, which is apt and updated of her study. And also she has mentioned the relevant and the latest reviews of the study that would be strengthening the quality of her research. The method of studies, the selection of the subject, selection of the test procedure for collecting the data in the field of body mass index, physiological and psychological variable, and she has used the research design and using the statistical techniques were appreciated and scientifically evident and fulfill of her the entire research. And also she has done the chapter 4th, the excellent work by writing the chapter for bringing out of result of the study in order to research logical conclusion based on the formation of the hypothesis. And also her thesis, the graphical representation is highly scientific evidence of the study, which are the based on the tables, shows the result. The chapter 5th, the scholar has given an excellent summary and the conclusion, the recommendation, which are short in being scientific and short in the presentation, which need to be appreciated of the study. And so we have no doubt there are so many methods so far we are using to promote health-oriented aspect by using different kind of yoga practice. She has mentioned the school of yoga practice and Iyengar yoga practice, which is I know that all the past scientific research and there are so many journals has indicated, so many research has indicated such a great the methods of yoga practice which need to be improve the health aspects. Why we have chosen the health aspect? Any person before going to attend any kind of physical activities like the minor games and the major games, the basic needs should be there. So that is the such a kind of yoga techniques indirectly to improve the physiological and the psychological aspects that would be contribute in addition to promote the general physical fitness to the players as well as the common people. Once we are improve the basic general physical fitness, that should be associated with the specific physical fitness that also associated with the fundamental skills of the players. So once again, I appreciate and congratulate. She has given an answer which is asked by the examiner, Dr. Madhyalagan. She has clearly mentioned. But as far as my concern, why not mention which yoga given more effect for the improvement of health aspect of dependent variable? Can you give? This is out of your research. Just I am asking this question: which yoga given more effective for the improvement of health-oriented aspect? NagaJothi?
Yogic, sir.
Huh?
Yogic.
No. Which yoga methods? School, bigger school of yoga or Iyengar yoga?
Iyengar yogic, sir. Iyengar yogic practices, sir. It's more effective.
Yes. What is the reason?
Iyengar yogic practices based to physical fitness, health-wise is more benefits, strength, flexibility, benefit for physical fitness, sir. So Iyengar yoga is best outcome, sir.
There is any difference yet? Basically, the methods has been described. Iyengar yoga from the school, bigger school of yoga. Because any kind of yoga given much effect, whereas compared to other kind of yoga. Basically, there is some difference. What kind of difference you have to find out? Bigger school of yoga by vida Iyengar yoga.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Enna difference methods la.
Bigger school of yoga main focus growing the mind, sir. Mind growing when the bigger school base penny. Then this school teaches traditional yoga in modern style. But Iyengar yoga mainly focused with the improved physical fitness, strength, flexibility, body awareness, and the alignment.
Okay, thank you.
So that is the difference, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, ma.
Thank you, sir.
Over to audience or audience. Participants.
Dear examiner, Magadevan sir, I want some clarification. This topic is there, researcher used, there are different type of yogic practice, like one is bigger school of yoga and another one is Iyengar of yoga.
Okay.
Middle-aged woman, go to methodology base, please share the screen, go to methodology. Researcher anywhere they are not mentioned inclusion exclusion criteria. They are randomly used in this selection, sample selection is randomly they are used. So during the period, as the examiner want to know about the middle-aged woman age category as well as those who are fit, for example, they have some comorbidities like polycystic ovary syndrome, or like they have some kind of health related problems. So I want to know what are the basic do they are included as well as excluded. Sample selection. I want to know. And another one thing, hypothesis. What are the basic they are accepted for the first hypothesis, and another one is second hypothesis. They are formulated the hypothesis. First one is they are accepted. What are the basic they are accepted? Is there any significant difference they are find out means? What significant difference they are find out? Please explain to me.
Mama or myself? Scholar wanted to explain or myself? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sir, once again, question clear, sir. Please repeat it again.
No.
Sir?
What he asking? Hello, NagaJothi.
Yes, sir.
He's asking two way of question. One is how to select the sample. No, if there is any yardstick you have used, புரியுதா நீங்க செலக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க பாருங்க அந்த ஏஜ் குரூப்.
Sir, yardstick like we have not used any yardstick, sir. It's for the female within 35 to 45. We didn't use any yardstick because you have to go for plenty of experiment, and you have to go and take blood test. Other tests also you have to take.
Oh no, there is no yardstick. Only you have chosen only in the age group of people, those who are not involved in physical activity.
Because you have to spend a lot of money.
Yes,
future study, you can use that, sir.
So,
What Mr. Future study, you can use that.
Yes. The second question is he is asking the hypothesis of first hypothesis is accepted. What basis you have mentioned the accepted? Like that he is asking. No. So I will give the reply. So based on the result, based on the data analysis and the interpretation of the data, in the result as mentioned, which is the obtained value, whereas compared to table value, that is the test is significance. Okay. Whereas compared to table value, the values comes under the significant status. So that all the selected dependent variables, which comes under the independent variables, once in the result shows positively, so the test is significant because the training has given much effect. And the scholar கேட்டாருங்களா எப்படி அக்செப்ட் பண்ணீங்க hypothesis அதுக்கு. So the result shows because of the it is not a display, so that the scholar audience getting confusion. Thing is in the acceptance mentioned the first hypothesis, the result is significant based on the result, whereas compared to the table value, that is a main thing. So that is he has mentioned the first hypothesis was accepted. Okay, because of school Bihar School of Yoga given much effect, whereas compared to the control group. So all the selected dependent variables significantly improved, so that the first hypothesis was accepted. That's all. Okay,
sir. Thank you, sir. I think plenty of question has been asked to her. You can please cover the degree, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please, sir. Over to you, sir. Dr. Magadev, sir.
Yes, myself. Okay.
Okay, award பண்ணிடலாம். ஆமா.
Okay, can it conclude? Can I come to conclude?
Conclude, sir.
Okay.
Conclude, yeah.
Okay. So, on the basis of all over the scientific and extensive research by the investigator and the logical presentation of the research output, the entire thesis, she has formulated all the information which are related to the study she has done systematically and scientifically. So that I appreciate and congratulate again both the guide and supervisor and also research scholar. They have done excellent study in the field of yoga as well as in the field of physical fitness and health-oriented aspect. So I recommended the thesis for the award of degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physical Education to the candidate Mrs. NagaJothi. So based on my recommendation to the university authority for considering the thesis for the award of degree of Doctor of Philosophy, hereafter the NagaJothi will be held as Dr. NagaJothi. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So finally, I thank the university authorities, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and Dean Controller of Examination, and in particular, former Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, Professor Dr. K. Vaidyanathan. Presently, he is the advisor of Physical Education sector in the SRM University Ph.D. and also Director Dr. Mohana Krishna and guide and other faculty members and scholars who are attended this function for making this public IOC in an excellent manner. Thank you, Manada. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you for everyone.
Give a lot of thanks. I'd like to thank Dr. Mohana Krishnan, Director Sports, Advisor Sports, and our honorable examiners of today's Viva, Dr. Madhyadagan, Dr. Mahadevan, my dear colleagues, Ph.D. and MPhil scholars for attending this Viva of Mrs. NagaJothi. I thank all the well-wishers who attended this Viva. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.